Hello everyone! Welcome back to our Mathematics 9 lesson. So yung previous lesson natin, we learned about the relations and functions. Today, we will discover another concepts that will help us understand functions even better. Our lesson is all about relationship between two variables, dependent variable and independent variable. For the learning competency, express the relationship between two variables as a function. For the learning objectives, by the end of this lesson, I can please read. Let's begin. So bago tayo mag-start, mag-review muna tayo what you learned on the previous lesson. You may pause the video and answer the following. The total cost of a sugar bought depends on the number of kilograms purchased. Is it a function? Correct. Every number of kilograms corresponds to only one total cost. Question number 2. The score obtained in a test depends on the amount of time spent studying. Function or not? Correct. Function. Question number 3. The distance traveled depends on the speed and travel time. Function or not? Correct. Function. Look at this relation. Yellow-orange, red-orange, yellow-green, blue-green, red-violet. Is it a function? Correct. Not a function dahil yung one input na red ay meron siyang dalawang outputs. On the screen, we have ordered pairs 410, 28, 47, and 29. You may pause the video and answer the table. Let's check. First, i-identify muna natin yung domain. Yun yung mga x values. The x values are 4, 2, 4, and 2. So, removing the duplicates, our domain is 2 and 4. Now, for the range, ito naman yung mga y values. These are 10, 8, 7, and 9. So, the range is 10, 8, 7, and 9. Now, ask yourself, does every input have only one output? Notice that yung 4, pinaired siya sa 10 and 7. Also, yung 2, pinaired siya with 8 and 9. Since one input has more than one output, this relation is not a function. Item number 2. The domain is already given. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The range is A, B, C, and D. So, we are going to complete the ordered pairs. One possible answer is 1A, 2B, 3C, and 4D. Is it a function? Yes. Each input is matched with only one output. Therefore, this relation is a function. Item number 3. Meron tayo ditong ordered pairs or relation na 1, 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, and 7, 9. Let's check. So, yung domain is 1, 3, 5, and 7. And the range is 3, 5, 7, and 9. So, yung each x value ba have only one value? Yes, therefore, this relation is a function. Before discussing the lesson, let us first understand three important terms. For the variable, it is an alphabet or term that represents an unknown number or unknown value or unknown quantity. It is a quantity that can be changed or which is not fixed according to the mathematical operation performed. So, yung variable is a quantity that can change. It is represented by letters like X, Y, N, or T, or from letter A to Z. Now, for the independent variable is the variable that causes the change. It is also called the input. It does not depend on another variable. For the dependent variable changes because of the independent variable. It is called the output. Its value depends on another variable. Remember this simple sentence. Independent causes the change. while independent receive the change. Let us use the classroom example. Suppose na yung teacher nyo, merong 50 students na nag-take ng mathematics test. So, gusto niyang malaman whether studying longer affects students' scores. So ask yourself, what changes first? The amount of studying? Then what changes because of it? The test score. Therefore, ang independent variable natin dito ay yung time spent studying, while the dependent variable is the test score. Because yung score, nakadepende siya on how much time was spent studying. So in function notation, f of x is equal to y. F is the function, x is the input, and y is the output. So, let us consider the equation y is equal to 2x plus 3. Alin kaya dyan yung variable that is independent? So, it is x. Bakit? Because you may choose any value of x. Now, what happens to y? Its value changes depending on x. Therefore, ang x is the independent variable at yung y naman is the dependent variable. Remember, yung input, process to output. Input is the independent variable and output is the dependent variable. So, in graphing or when graphing, yung independent variable dyan is always placed on the x-axis and the dependent variable is placed on the y-axis. Whenever you see a graph, remember, yung horizontal axis is the x, independent variable, at yun namang vertical axis or y is the dependent variable. So, let us have an example. Let n be the number of chocolate bars purchased. Each chocolate, C, bars cost 24 pesos each. You're going to identify the dependent and independent variable. So, yung chocolate bars, nagkakos siya ng 24 pesos kada isa. So, let n is equal to the number of bars and c is the total cost. For the equation, it will become c is equal to 24 times n. Now, which is independent? Correct. It is the number of chocolate bars. Which is dependent? The total cost. Because the cost depends on how many bars you buy. Example number 2. The student council plans to offer refreshments at the next council general assembly. The number of sandwiches that are purchased will depend upon the number of students attending the assembly. Let C be the number of students attending the general assembly, and S is the number of sandwiches purchased. So yung student council will prepare sandwiches, and the number of sandwiches depends on the number of students attending. So, ano yung magiging independent variable natin dyan? It is the number of students. And the dependent variable is the number of sandwiches. Example number 3. How does salary increase affect employees' motivation? What is the independent variable in that statement? It is the salary increase. And the dependent variable is the employee's motivation. For example number 4, how higher degree can lead to a higher income? So what is the independent variable in that statement? It is the higher degree. And the dependent variable is the higher income. Example number 5, does eating breakfast affect students' test scores? Independent variable is the presence or absence of breakfast, while the dependent variable is the test score. Next example, if f of x is equal to 3x plus 1, which variable is dependent? The output, f of x, depends on x. So therefore, ang dependent variable natin is f of x. The independent variable is the x. Example number 7. Based on the given graph, which is dependent variable and the independent variable? What equation can be derived from the graph? So, tingnan nyo yung graph. Yung horizontal or x-axis, nagre-represent siya as the minutes. And the vertical or y-axis represents the words type. Therefore, ang independent variable ay yung minutes at ang dependent variable is the words type. As time increases, the number of words type also increases. So, let us have a lesson activity. Be a detective. You are going to identify the dependent and independent variables. You may pause this video before checking your answers. For number 1, Alexa is bringing cupcakes to school. The number of cupcakes depends on the number of classmates. So what is the independent variable here? It is the number of classmates. And the dependent variable is the number of cupcakes. For number 2, a worker earns 350 pesos per hour and works for 5 hours. The independent variable is the number of hours worked and the dependent variable is the salary or total earnings. Number 3, students investigate how the height from which a ball is dropped affects how high it bounces. For the independent variable, it is the height from which the ball is dropped. And the dependent variable is the height of the bounce. For number 4, the time it takes to walk to school depends on the distance from home. So the independent variable here is the distance from home to school, and the dependent variable is the time to walk to school. Number 5, the higher the temperature of the water, the faster the egg boils. So independent variable, the temperature of the water. And the dependent variable is the time needed for the egg to boil or how fast it boils. Number 6, how does playing Mobile Legends affects student test grades? Independent variable is yung time spent playing Mobile Legends. And for the dependent variable, students' test grades. Now, let us summarize today's lesson. Yung variable is a quantity that changes. Yung independent variable is the cause. It is the input. And the dependent variable is the effect. It is the output. In equation, x is usually the independent variable. And y or f of x is usually the dependent variable. On a graph naman, yung independent variable is found on the x-axis, while the dependent variable is found on the y-axis. So, whenever you are unsure, you need to ask yourself, which variable depends on the other. The one that depends is the dependent variable, and the one that causes the change is the independent variable. Congratulations! Today, you learned how to identify dependent and independent variables in equations, graphs, and real-life situation. So, in our next lesson, we will continue exploring function by expressing the relationship between two variables. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, keep learning, and see you in our next Mathematics 9 video lesson. Goodbye, everyone!